V. Performance of different sectors. Trade policy. Two important developments on the trade policy front during the year relate to I midterm review of foreign trade policy FTI multilateral negotiations of WTO in December 2017. Besides, some developments on the trade logistics front and anti-dumping measures are worth mentioning. Foreign exchange reserves. India's foreign exchange reserves reached $409.4 billion on end December 2017. It is a growth by nearly 14% on a YoY basis from end December 2016. Major economies are running a current account deficit. Given this, India is sixth largest foreign exchange reserve holder among all countries of the world. Industrial sector. IIP. Index of Industrial Production. IIP. Index of Industrial Production. IIP base year 2011 to 12 indicates industrial output increase of 3.2% April-November 2017 to 18. This was a composite effect of robust growth in electricity generation and moderate growth in both mining and manufacturing sectors. The IIP registered a 25-month high growth of 8.4% with manufacturing growing at 10.2%. Core sector. 8 core industries. The 8 core infrastructure supportive industries had a cumulative growth of 3.9% April-November 2017 to 18. The production growth of coal, natural gas, refinery products, steel, cement and electricity was positive during this period, while the production of crude oil and fertilizers fell marginally. Sectoral initiatives. The economic survey listed out sectoral initiatives. Steel. In order to address dumping of cheap steel imports from China, South Korea and Ukraine, the government raised customs duty and imposed anti-dumping duty, minimum import price (MIP) on a number of items in February 2016, with a sunset clause of 1 year. These measures helped the domestic producers and exports recovered. The government notified anti-dumping duties and countervailing duties on various steel products in February 2017. The government has rolled out a new steel policy in May 2017. MSME sector. MSMEs in India play a crucial role in providing large-scale employment opportunities at comparatively lower capital cost than large industries and also in industrialization of rural and backward areas. The government has initiated a number of schemes for the sector and particularly the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana for development and refinancing activities relating to micro-industrial units in 2016 to 17. Textiles and apparels. To address some of the constraints faced by apparel firms, the Cabinet announced a Rs.6,000 crore package for the apparel sector on June 2016. It was found that since its implementation in June 2016, the package had a positive impact on the exports of ready-made garments RMG of man-made fibers, while it did not have a statistically significant impact on the RMG of other natural fibers, except wool. The impact of the package increased over time and did not show any signs of attenuation. The government has in December 2017 approved the scheme for capacity building in textile sector SCBTs with an outlay of 1,300 crore for the period 2017 to 2018 to 2019 to 2020. Leather sector. Leather sector is also highly labor-intensive sector. The sector faces challenges which have been addressed through the scheme for the purpose of promotion of employment in the leather and footwear sector in December 2017, with an outlay of Rs 2,600 crore over 3 financial years 2017 to 18 to 2019 to 2020. Gems and jewellery. India is one of the largest exporters of gems and jewellery. Exports of the sector have risen from 0.7% in 2014 to 15 to 12.8% in 2016 to 17. Training in jewellery designing, setting up refineries, hallmarking centers etc. and creation of multiple jewellery parks would help the sector. Infrastructure building. Resilient infrastructure. According to the survey, the government is investing massively on building infrastructure to support India's long-term growth. India is far ahead than many emerging economies in terms of providing qualitative transportation-related infrastructure. Roadways. The primary agenda for the government has been building new national highways (NHS) and also converting state highways (SHs) into NHS. Railways. Regarding railways, The survey states that during 2017 to 18, Indian Railways carried 558.10 million tons of revenue, earning freight traffic as against 531.23 million tons during the corresponding period of previous year, showing an increase of 5.06% during this period. With emphasis on railways infrastructure development, the pace of commissioning broad gauge BG lines and completion of electrification have been accelerated. Ports in 2017 to 18, cargo traffic handled at major ports has been 499.41 million tons compared to 481.87 million tons handled during the corresponding period of 2016-17. Under Sagar program, which is to promote port-led development along Indian coastline, 289 projects worth Rs. 2.17 lakh crore are under various stages of implementation and development, the survey adds. Telecommunication and the telecommunications sector, the survey pointed out that the program like BharatNet and Digital India are to convert India into a digital economy. As on end of September 2017, the total subscribers stood at 1,207.04 million, out of which 501.99 million connections were in the rural areas and 705.05 million in the urban areas. Civil aviation. Regarding civil aviation sector, the economic survey says that in 2017 to 18 April-September domestic airlines carried 57.5 million passengers, showing a growth rate of 16% over the corresponding previous year period, with 10.3% domestic cargo handled. The government is taking initiatives like liberalization of air services, airport development and regional connectivity through schemes like UDAN. Power sector survey mentions that all India installed power generation capacity has reached 3,860.6 megawatt as on 30th November 2017, and electrification in 15,183 villages has been completed. The Ujjwal DIFCO Assurance Yojana UDAY has focused on enhancing the financial health of DIFCOMs by reducing interest burden, cost of power and aggregated technical and commercial losses. A new scheme, Sahaj Pradhan Mantri Sahaj Pradhan Yojana, was launched in September 2017 to ensure electrification of all remaining willing households in the country in rural and urban areas with an outlay of Rs. 16,320 crore, the survey adds. Logistics. According to the survey, the Indian logistics industry, worth around $160 billion, has grown at a compound annual growth rate CAGR of 7.8% during last 5 years. Logistics sector provides employment to more than 22 million people. The global ranking of the World Bank's 2016 Logistics Performance Index shows that India jumped to 35th rank in 2016 from 54th rank in 2014 in terms of overall logistics performance. India has improved its rank in all the 6 components of Logistics Performance Index. Ujjwal Discom Assurance Yojana. When a 2% loss of GDP makes an entry in the balance sheet, it creates a wave of turbulence for the government. Ironically, the government stayed away from taking any major steps to suppress the substantial growth of the loss. Power, in a practical sense, still remains the sought-after commodity, with the scheduled-unscheduled power cuts very much prevalent in the country. CRISIL data exhibits a consistent lag towards power availability since 2012. Settlement for dues have always been used as a major tool to take care of the problem at hand, but when the problem is looked into more deeply, it becomes clear that short-term solutions pave way for long-term deteriorations. Problems with the sector. The massive transmission and distribution losses can be attributed to the following reasons: inadequate tariff increases, poor power purchase planning, sale of power at prices lower than the DISCOM's procurement costs, political willingness, lack of timely subsidy payments, inefficiencies in metering and billing, illegal connections, reckless funding by banks to loss-making DISCOMs. Why UDAY? The UDAY scheme, not compulsory, will pave way for the takeover of the 75% of DISCOM liabilities by state governments over a 2 to 5 year period, financing of the debt via bonds with a maturity period of 10 to 15 years. Effects. It will help relieve debt-ridden DISCOMs. It will lead to the acceptance of debts in the balance sheet of the DISCOM while encouraging them to align tariffs to costs and ensuring the sustainable working of the same. The utility of UDAY, unsustainable borrowings, should be curbed to put a stop on ever-increasing loss. Under UDAY, The future losses can be permitted to finance only when a DISCOM bond is guaranteed by the state government, thus ensuring that the DISCOM applies a profitable discretion with elements like the guided intervention of the state governments and the graded manner in which it needs to be taken up. The scheme assumes an all-season ongoing approach and not a one-time settlement effort. Certain conditions put across by UDA involves loss reduction needs to be aided by circle-wise target, feeder and DV metering, as well as upgrading and replacement of transformers. Regions with sustained loss reduction should be incentivized, rewarded by increased hours of supply. Other initiatives that can be taken to reduce DISCOM inefficiencies. Laying down a specific performance monitoring and compliance mechanism can be incentivized by additional funding and other inputs. Monitoring of lending by banks to ensure reliable supply of investment. Ensure regular tariff setting. Energy auditing of feeders. Metering of distribution transformers. DT. Elimination of revenue gaps. Allow fuel cost adjustments in final tariffs. Reduction in short-term power purchase. Liquidation of regulatory assets. Ensuring advance payments of subsidies attractive to states. The additional liability will not be considered for assessing fiscal responsibility limits of states. The 3 to 4 percentage point reduction in interest rates will serve as a relief. Issues with UDA's state subject. Electricity is not a central subject, and thus, the scheme cannot be made a compulsory one, which leaves the door open for unequal working of the DISCOM per state. No monetary assistance is being provided by the state. Those states willing to become a part of the scheme will be granted with subsidized funding in the government's schemes and priority in the supply of coal. The conversion of DISCOM debt into bonds is not as difficult as if finding a suitable buyer for those bonds, not enjoying SLR status. Additionally, Yazabas views political unwillingness needs to be fixed and mechanisms need to be strictly followed to plug the loopholes to address the debt-ridden DISCOMs and fix the losses. This restructuring package needs to be designed in a way that it can deal with both an unexpected tariff shock or an increased burden from the state government, taking into due consideration the certain measures that needs to be effectively worked out enumerated above. Services sector, state-wise. The survey gave a unique state-wise comparison of the performance of the service sector in India. Out of the 32 in 15 states and ups, the services sector is the dominant sector. It has contributed more than half of the gross state value added GSVA. However, there is wide variation in terms of share and growth of services GSVA in 2016-17. Services GSVA share ranges from over 80% in the case of Delhi and Chandigarh to around 31% in Sikkim. Services GSVA growth ranges from 14